Hey everyone, it's Ty from bizabizow. Yeah, the video's starting. Just give me a second. This round's almost over. So I heard that there's like a new avatar coming out. Have you oh my god, that was drift. So it's been a while since my first fixing Smash Ults, hasn't it? You know, that video where I took a couple of Smash Ultimate fighters with disappointing ult selections and mocked up new better ones for them. Y'all seem to enjoy it, so I figured I would in fact continue. As I stated in that one, this isn't just an exercise in pure wishful thinking, although it's really fun to let loose and come up with whatever references our minds can possibly conjure with fan-made Smash Ult mockups. I'm taking a different approach with mine by asking, how would Ultimate look upon its release if every fighter's ult selections were on par with the best already in the game? In other words, I want every ult I come up with to fall within the general guidelines and trends that already exist in Ultimate, minus all the dumb inhibiting factors like tiny legal hangups or bad decision making. I'm not going to go over all those details again here though, so if you want to know what my process is and what rules I've set for myself, you should go watch that first one and make sure you're all caught up. Oh, and one thing before we start, starting in the first one, I actually fully intended on also drawing those little stock icons that Ultimate would have for each of the new alternate sets I create, but somehow I just completely forgot to do that. So here are those for Young Link and Sonic. I'll be continuing this for every future fighter from now on. Okay, I won't dilly-dally anymore. Time to tackle some more characters.
Stock battle! Donkey Kong!
Hey, Diddy, guess what?
I know you're probably thinking, Donkey Kong? What's wrong with Donkey Kong's ults? They're like some of the best color swaps in the game. And yes, I agree. In terms of visual appeal and color variety, these are really good. I mean, I can't really get mad at a selection that includes both Cotton Candy Pink and Laffy Taffy Purple. Except, I can, actually. More than upset, angry even. In fact, Donkey Kong's alt slots are some of the most infuriating in the game to me. Not quite Stuff 3 level ape anger, but close. What pisses me off so much about these lies in the reference territory, because most of these are attempted references to parts of the Donkey Kong series, but for some baffling reason fall just short of actually doing so. For instance, take this green one. This is clearly meant to be this multiplayer color from King of Swing on the Game Boy Advance. It's the exact same green hue and everything, but oh, what's that? This color swap has an orange tie. No, that's too far. We gotta keep that shit red. Or this pink one. It's not as concrete, but the general fan consensus is that this is taken from the Player 2 Junior sprite from Donkey Kong Jr. Math. But if it was, they just completely passed up the obvious white tie that would have tied this one together, pun not intended, in favor of a random yellow one. Just, what? Why? I can understand if these small changes were made for the sake of color variety or visual appeal, but being accurate to these original references would have looked just fine, and if anything would have added more color variety instead of these 3 alts where his tie was just kept red for some reason. These are so tantalizingly close to being perfect references, they just had to go and tease us. The only one that I can at least somewhat get is this white alt, which many have pointed out is incredibly close to the appearance of Super Kong, the help mode form of DK in Donkey Kong Country Returns, just without the blue tie. The thing though is that this Smash color swap actually predates Returns in Brawl. In fact, it's theorized that the Brawl color may have inspired the look of Super Kong. Well, that and or this weird glitch from the original Donkey Kong Country where DK turns white. Get off of him, man. However, by the time Smash 4 came around, it would have made perfect sense to just go ahead and change that tie to blue. Make it come full circle, you know? Especially with the Returns content in 4, it would have fit right in. But nah, fast forward to Ultimate and they still have not done that. So I decided to squelch the flames of rage within me by taking this opportunity to fix DK's alts once and for all. These will largely be the same, just with small tweaks to complete the intended references. Alright, here we go. First, we have DK's first regular slot, his default brown fur and red tie appearance. As we know, this current look for Donkey Kong originated in Donkey Kong Country. For his second slot, we have his lime green appearance, taken from this multiplayer color from King of Swing. Of course, the tie was changed from the red that the original Ultimate alt has to the proper orange, solidifying this reference, which also just looks better in my opinion. He's got a kinda sherbet look to him, or sherbert for you plebeians out there. The DK lettering has also been changed to red, mirroring the King of Swing sprite, which has a few red pixels where this logo would be. Next, we have his red alt, based on his sprite from the original Donkey Kong arcade game. Well, technically Cranky Kong sprite, not this DK's, but no need to get into any monkey lore right now. Ultimate's original colors made the reference a little less clear, so I tweaked a few things to up the resemblance. His skin tone is closer to the more orange hue on his sprite, and the tie is now black with orange lettering, which is just a color I chose as this DK doesn't have a tie to pull from. It's meant to sort of represent the pitch black background seen in the game, but mostly just fits the vibe, I feel. Next, we have this blue alt, which is actually a more drastic change compared to my other tweaks. This slot was originally purple with a pink tie, which, as good as a color as it was, wasn't a reference to anything, sadly. I decided to use another King of Swing color and make him blue instead. The original sprite shares the same orange tie color as the green one, but I made it more of a yellow here to make sure every one of these alts has a different tie color. The skin tone has also been brightened and shifted a little bit here, as I thought it would be interesting to give his alt selection even more skin tone variety, as you'll see more coming up. Next is our pink alt, which has yet again been tweaked from Ultimates to cement its reference. We have a white tie instead of a yellow to represent the Player 2 Donkey Kong Jr. shirt from Donkey Kong Jr. Math, who is, of course, pink and white. I also changed the skin tone a slight amount to be more towards the pink side, just like the sprite. Next is the white alt with a blue tie instead of the red to finally give DK a proper Super Kong alt from Donkey Kong Country Returns. As they say, Mario may be super, but Super Kong is super duper, with a big twoper. Our next slot is this yellow color swap. This is the final color taken from King of Swing, where DK has yellow fur and a light blue tie. This was actually the single DK alt reference that Ultimate committed fully to, as you can see here. However, as proud of them as I am, I decided to take this just a step further and combine the look with another yellow Donkey Kong color swap from the original Mario Golf, in which DK has considerably darker skin. This makes this slot a reference to two different looks instead of just one. And finally, our 8th alt slot is this dark color variant. In Ultimate, this was another one that didn't really have any reference aside from just resembling a real-life gorilla a little bit more than regular DK, but I don't know, I feel like we can do something a little better than that. This particular palette is taken from one of the villain Kongs from Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, Ninja Kong. This lets us keep the same dark coat and skin tone, but now with a purple and yellow tie to mirror those little markings on Ninja's arms. I also made the pupils red for this one. Smash tends to jump at the chance to give a fighter an edgy dark alt, so this is a perfect addition, I think. So there's the new and improved Donkey Kong. I hope you can see what I mean now by the original Ultimate lineup being a big frustration for me. These all would have been super easy and obvious tweaks to make, and would have considerably improved both his alternate color variety and referential appeal. Hey, speaking of monkeys, look at this neat little gif of a monkey taking a shower. This stuff is nuts. You can find anything on the internet these days.
Hey, little buddy. I'm sorry for flying off the handle earlier. That was uncalled for. But look, I got you some balloons as an apology gift. They have helium in them and everything.
Stop battle! Pac-Man!
Common mistake, but my name is actually Pac-Dan. Everyone always gets that wrong. They always get it wrong. The cabinet should say Pac-Dan on them, but, I think they changed it so people couldn't, vandalize them. Make it say, Pac-Dam or something crappy like that. It's actually Pac-Dan, though. So if you could get that right.
If there is any fighter in this game that needs their alts fixed, it's Pac-Man. He has one of, if not the worst selection out of any of the characters in the game. Any Smash fan can tell you that. All the things we've been looking for, like color variety, reference material, general visual appeal, etc., are all but completely absent here. I can at least understand their hesitation to change Pac-Man's base colors in any drastic way, as making his whole body blue or red or something would look really odd on him. This sort of issue was already addressed with characters like Pikachu and Jigglypuff, who were given slight shades and variations on the same base color, with the addition of little extra accessories like hats and such. This way, they're still distinguishable from one another without looking, extremely odd. Instead of a full green Pikachu, you have the same yellow Pikachu with a greener tint and a green bandana. It just works better for this type of character. But they didn't even try this for Pac-Man. They decided instead to keep him his default yellow for every single alt, electing to only change his glove and shoe colors. Except no, they didn't even do that. All but one keeps his gloves and shoes the exact same default color as well, only adding little colored cuffs and bands. They were that afraid of changing his look for some reason. Not only are these incredibly boring, but they end up looking worse color-wise. Without the ability to slightly shift the yellow, orange, and red to properly complement the new bright color details, some of these just look kind of bad. It was all a bizarre choice for sure. But how's the reference side of things looking though? Well, we have 5 slots with his little wing shoes from Pac-Land, which is kinda neat, I'll give them that. Certainly don't need 5 entire slots with them though. This oven mitt plaid one could be an extremely obscure reference to a specific port of Pac-Land for the Amiga, where this weird dither pattern on his gloves look kind of oven mitt-esque. But besides the 1, potentially 2 things, that's it. Literally all there is. And no, don't even try to tell me that these 3 are supposed to be ghost colors or something, because that is a fucking stretch and a half. As assumed to be the case with other characters like Sonic and Cloud, it's very likely that most of this was the result of Bandai Namco's demands when it came to how their IP was portrayed. It really just feels like they didn't want anything changed on Pac-Man's designs for these alts for fear of him losing his iconic Pac-Man look, I guess. And the wing shoes and color bands were simply a compromise. This is just speculation though, there's no way to know for sure. So what could they have done instead? Well, the first and most obvious idea that I'm definitely not the first person to think of, Ms. Pac-Man is an amazing contender for a full alternate costume, in the same vein as Steve and Alex, Olimar and Alf, Bowser Jr. and the Koopalings, etc., where they're implemented as costumes for the same fighter, but are given different names and announcer voice lines when you select them. I've heard a lot of people discuss the possibility of her being a full-on Echo Fighter or something, but I think that would be unnecessary. Pac-Man needs something more interesting for his alts, after all. Both of them would then get 3 recolors each, and as discussed earlier, I think the whole Pikachu route would be an excellent way to go for these. Different hues of yellow for their base color, with complete color changes for gloves and shoes, as well as some extra little accessories. I do want to mention super briefly though before we get into it, yes, I know about the whole Ms. Pac-Man legal debacle that's played out over the last several decades, and that currently, Smash would definitely not be able to use her likeness. However, like I've mentioned a couple of other times, we don't have to worry about that. Part of the series is that we're completely ignoring legal inhibitors like this. For the sake of the video, pretend this ownership conflict never happened, and Bandai Namco has full ownership of Ms. Pac-Man and related characters today. Sorry.
Games.
It is a really interesting topic on its own though, so if you want to learn more about it, I'd recommend checking out this video by Johnny V that goes into a summary of the entire situation. It's a good watch, you should check it out. Okay, let's go. Pac-Man's first slot is of course his default look, starting the first of 4 color alts. This is his commonly used 3D appearance that was first introduced around the time of Pac-Man World. His second slot in first recolor is this one, based on Pac-Man and Ms. Pac-Man's son, Pac-Man Jr. Or Junior Pac-Man, I guess is his actual name for some reason. I based this specifically on his design from Pac-Man 2, The New Adventures, in which he sports this ball cap and these multicolored shoes. The third slot and second recolor for Pac-Man is his design from Pac-Land, which includes the original white wing shoes that Ultimate had, now with the hat to match. Pac-Land also happens to be the Pac-Man game with the most representation in Ultimate for some reason, so this would be a perfect fit. I am currently holding off a rant about 3DS Pac-Man stage's absence in Ultimate at the mere mention of this. The fourth slot and final default Pac-Man recolor is based on Professor Pac-Man. This character originated in the 1983 arcade game of the same name, but this was based specifically on his current appearance from the Pac-Man World series, with these white glasses and the black graduation cap. And now, Pac-Man's fifth slot, a full alternate costume changing him into his wife, Ms. Pac-Man. Or at least that's what they want you to think. Ms. Pac-Man has had a surprisingly inconsistent design across all of her appearances, so I did my best to combine a lot of them into a design fit for Smash. The biggest differences to point out from default Pac-Man are her long boots that she's often seen with, her big red bow, her purple eyeshadowed eyelids with eyelashes, this lipstick and mole, and her curved eyebrows instead of Pac-Man's sharp V-shaped ones. The sixth slot will be Ms. Pac-Man's first recolor, based on Pac-Girl from the Pac-Man DS game Pac-'n' Roll. This character is, in fact, Ms. Pac-Man herself, just a child form, as this game is intended to be a prequel to the entire Pac series, I guess you could say. For this, I removed the eyeshadow, mole, and lipstick to mirror her appearance here, as well as the fact that she's, a young Ms. Pac-Man. The shoes are swapped back to the original shape, just like this Pac-Girl design has, turned to white alongside her gloves, and with these little orange flowers and dots added to the model. The 7th slot and 2nd Ms. Pac-Man recolor turns her back to her adult form, but this time taking on the look she had in her original arcade cabinet artwork. This design has also been used multiple times for various promotional material, most notably this 40th anniversary logo. I cut off the top parts of her long pointy boots to more resemble her small high heel shoes she wears here, of course now with a light blue color to match her new eyeshadow. And as you can see, her bow, gloves, and lipstick are all pink now. As a final touch, I added some pink blush, just like the classic design it's based on. And finally, the 8th Pac-Man alternate slot is a Ms. Pac-Man recolor based on her and Pac-Man's other canonical child, Baby Pac-Man. Now, this character has had the most wildly inconsistent design out of any other character, so I once again took some liberties and combined a few of their various designs into one. I removed Ms. Pac-Man's boots again, as well as her makeup and eyelashes this time, and gave her a smaller light pink bow, now with a little tuft of hair behind it, just like Baby Pac-Man tends to be shown with. I gave her gloves a white color like the original Baby Pac-Man design had, and made the shoes and bow light pink to fall more in line with their Pac-Man world design. And there we go. The state of Ms. Pac-Man as a character really is a shame, and even more so that alts like these can't exist because of it. It really doesn't seem likely, but all we can do is hope that the legal side will be settled at some point and something like this will be possible for Smash in the future. At the very least though, just give Pac-Man's alts fucking anything else next time, just please.
And another thing, my wife isn't Miss Pac-Man, okay? Her name's actually Patricia. I don't know where down the line that got misconstrued. I don't even know where Miss Pac-Man came from. But it's Patricia. And honestly, it kind of ticks me off when people start, and sorry to get a little bit mad here, okay? I get freaking uptight when people disrespect her like that. I get real PO'd when people do that.
And that's it for today. I know, I said last time that I would start covering 3 or 4 characters per episode if I continued, but this one was already taking longer than usual, and I didn't want to keep you all waiting even more. Along with the Smash art for this video, I've also been working on updated art for the channel in general, hence why this one was a little slower in production. In fact, hey, that reminds me. Look at that, huh? The little tie stills, fresh off the presses. Look, I have fingers now, so I hope you enjoyed. Once again, let me know if you liked it and if you want more, yada yada yada. Anyways, if you'd excuse me, I got to bookend this video by going back to playing the same game I started off the video playing. Wait. No, this is right. I love Smash Brothers. Hello, this is normally where I just do my normal Patreon name reading, but I just wanted to insert this in here super quick, just because I feel like I don't say this enough. Genuinely, thank you to all of my Patreon supporters, all of the tiers, any amount that you give me on there is seriously beyond appreciated. It's really reassuring to me that even during times where I'm taking a little bit more time on videos or things are a little slower here, that you guys are still willing to throw me some money every month to keep the channel afloat and myself as a person. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for making this girl happy. Yippee, that's me being happy. Anyways, I'd like to thank my Skrunklies. Thank you for supporting me. Spider Bee, Goose Dog, Just a Penguin, Dewey, Prism, April B, Creative JK, Adelaide Parade, Malin, Soy Sauce Flavored Tide Pod, Galaxy, Chico Mode, Catterall, Peewoliver, Schmooms, Blargan Snorf, Frigid Duck, Zealous, Rubbish Bunny, The Siberian, Goji Dragon, Awesome Ace Z, Xeno Dude Face, Melody May, Wunga, Red Mustached Alien, Toast Omatsuri, Pomlantine, Lily Swartzlander, Just Jenny, Fedco, Zacier, and Wilford MF Worth. If you'd like to join these folks, you can check out my Patreon in the link in the description. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and peace out.
Monkey scream. Loud monkey noises. Screaming monkey. Monkey scream.